got to go up the paddock and a tree's fallen down on the fence. So we've got a little cordless chainsaw. We'll go up the front, cut the tree down, get it off the fence. I'm slowly trying to tidy up this little ridge down here. It's starting to come good. A few gums and that still need to be tidied up. Start coming down this ridge as well, see? Bit by bit. I'm only really sort of concerned about the areas where I can get to with the tractor and maintain it. So it sort of only goes past the tree line there, another 15 or so metres, and it starts to get a bit steep. We'll leave all of that timber in there, just go through and spray the lantana and less desirable stuff out of it. Leave it pretty well timbered. A couple of bigger old iron barks and that have died off. Have to knock them down before they fall on someone. Try and leave them standing up in case we need some firewood. We can get some nice clean when we need it. Just got these little burn piles. I just stack up any fallen timber and burn out stumps and things. Mob a lantana in here. Get back and spray it. These little piles around the place are all where these old tree stumps and things. Got one little dam here that seems to be, I think it's spring fed, but it also fills up pretty easily, but then it drains away. Must be a bit leaky. We don't really need it for stock water, but have to try and seal it up one day. Tidy up these little creek flat sort of areas. A heap of timber stacked up in there. We've got to keep trimming them up and burning it away. This is our boundary fence just through there. You can see the longer grass. Set of portable yards here. We set this up originally. There's an old head bale on there and we sort of made it into a bit of a crush, put a slide gate and that on it, just so we could process our cattle when we first got them, knock the horns off them and put a brand on them and ear tag them and all that sort of stuff. Probably tidy this up a little bit later, and it's pretty steep going up and down the hill there, so we'll use this as like a bit of a transportation yard if we need to get a truck in or a truck out or whatever. It's a bit more accessible here if we just have a little yard here. I'll put these two little tanks here, so eventually we'll get a few more panels and tidy it up, and we'll make a better sort of yard. I want to get like a shipping container and put a bit of a lean-to on it so we can have a few bales of hay if we ever buy any weaners, or we want to sell some weaners. We can just put them in the yards up here and they'll have feed and water and wait for the truck to turn up. A bit of shade under the trees. Going through with this paddock here now, we're just trying to keep it slashed down and get the less desirable weeds out, but it's getting better and better every time we sort of slash it. Little clumps of giant rat tail popping up, and we'll have to come back and pull it out. There's plenty of wind cassia in through there, so we'll start to hay off a bit now, but I'm trying to spell this paddock. But over on this side, try and keep the cows off it for a while and keep slashing the tops out of the weeds, and hopefully the grass will thicken up, improve the soil condition a bit. Right here is where the fence the trees falling on the fence. This is our boundary fence along here. This is just like the road easement. We'll go through and tidy all that up one day when we get to it. Just spray the lantana and stuff out of there and pull some of the dead wood down and reduce the fire risk a little bit. I'd like to be able to get me tractor and slasher on the other side and put a bit of a fire break off my fence, just so the fire's not burning my fence. We'll get there one day. Just back the saw, get the saw out, trim this tree up. Haven't had this little chainsaw for long, but seems handy for stuff like this. Pull the trigger and away it goes. Put a little bit of bar oil in it. This one seems the same as every other chainsaw I've ever used. It leaks as well. So I just put enough in there to do what I'm doing and keep topping it up if I need it. It's got a little sight glass on the front, so it's pretty easy to see how much oil you put in there. While you're cutting, you can have a quick look, see if you need to add some. Self-adjusting chain on this side. Just back it off and tighten it up. Seems pretty good for now. Stack this stuff back near the stump. I'll come back another day and put a bit of a fire break around it and burn the whole lot. That's the pile. I just had to use two hands. It's too awkward to try and do it with one hand. That's it, we got it off the fence. Fence is still pretty tight. We'll stack that up. There's a heap of lantana and stuff around the place. I don't know what these ones with the white trunk are, but any of those half sickly looking ones, I'll knock those down as well. Open it up a bit. Give these bigger, better trees a bit more life. Get rid of the less desirable ones. I don't know, I always sort of envisioned that one day I'd just run a bit of temporary fence around this road easement, and when the grass is pretty thick like this, before it gets too dry, I'll put the cows in here just for a day or two. I'll just put them in the morning and put them back at night. Keep an eye on them for a couple of days and knock all this grass down, reduce the fire risk a little bit anyway. Keep it a bit tidier. That lantana's annoying. I hate it even being on the other side of the fence, so eventually we'll get rid of it all. And this is our little paddock where we're starting here. You can see the tree lines there's sort of where the trees are now is a little bit steep. This whole front paddock's white zone, so we can clean it all, but I like the selectively cleared look, so I'll leave a lot of this good timber. There's some good iron barks and some spotty gums and blue gums and things in amongst it all. So it's a little bit thin over here. I'd like to have a few more trees, but they might come back one day. Even like although it's white zone, we don't plan on annihilating everything. We'll just take out the less desirable stuff, obviously the lantana, and thin the wattle out a little bit just so we can reduce the fire risk and improve the carrying capacity of the paddock a little bit. It's a plan. We've sort of gone through here. This was all pretty barren when we first got the place, but we've slowly just spelled it. We had no cattle on the place for years, but we've spelled it and gone through and slashed and sprayed and got rid of most of the rubbish off these flatter areas. This was all pretty overgrown just with lantana and rubbish. We've tidied it all back up and tried to leave the better species, the gums and the harder woods. Hopefully we can harvest a few one day. Well no, I'll just see how it recovers with natural pasture, but it's obviously got this Wincasia in it. We didn't plant that, but just by spelling it for a while, it's come back. It seems pretty dominant, but we've gone around and just overseeded, just ridden around on the four-wheeler and just thrown out handfuls of Rhodes grass or a tropical beef mix, but didn't have real good success. So once the soil condition improves a little bit, I might have to add a little bit of lime or something. I haven't done any soil tests on it, but hopefully one day we might be able to poke around with the tractor and sort of just rip some single lines or something. I've got a little disc up there, but I'm not too worried because the cattle do pretty well on this pasture. Just need a little bit more density, a bit more of it. So hopefully once we get the fences done out the back, we can sort of rotate them a little bit more so we can manage the pasture a little bit better, the grazing rates of it. I grazed them a little bit too heavy on this one just because I didn't have a fence out the back that was secure, so I left them in here a little bit too long. But I just got to come back with the slasher and knock the tops off these weeds now as they keep popping up, and hopefully once it warms up we get a bit of rain and we'll have a good little paddock. Just rode up the fence line here a bit further. This old wattle tree, I don't know for whatever reason, whether they get rot or they're just designed to be that way, but this old wattle tree is still alive, but it's just split, whether the wind got it or whatever. I don't know what's going on, whether this, for whatever reason it decided it just wanted to split and lay over, so I'm just going to trim this old tree up. I've got a few other burn piles here, a few stumps around. I'll just trim this bit up, see what happens. I'll leave this main limb on for now, a little bit of shade for the cows, but if it ends up falling over, I'll chop the rest up and burn the stump out. But for now I'm just going to trim this bit up and then I'll drag it over to these burn piles, and one day when we're ready and we've got all the gear ready, we'll tidy this up and burn all of that stuff. Just get the little cordless chainsaw still. I'll trim this up and we'll tidy it up. Once we trimmed all of those limbs and stuff off that other tree, there wasn't much left of it, so I just chopped it off, and then that's where the stump is there now. I'll come back once this dries out and burn that out. Have to trim this one up a little bit more just to tidy it up so I can get around it with the tractor. And I drag most of those other limbs down this way. All of this country in here was just overgrown with little wattle and lantana, and there's a big patch of rat tail in here that I've sort of tried to scrape out and tried to spray it. And just got to keep an eye on it now and let it come back. I should get a couple of cheap bales of hay or something and roll out, cover the soil up a bit. A little antenna popping back up there. Must have been pushed or cleared or raked up at some stage, all of this old timber. That's not mine. So we'll get a few burn piles going one day, and I'll get a bit of firefighting gear and we'll try and burn it all out. All these ones here I've just knocked down. I still got to pile them up yet and burn a few stumps and things out. Big dead old iron bark in behind there, it can come down. We'll clean this little ridge up, but you can, a bit hard to see, but where I'm standing here now is I can get the tractor along this edge. Too much further that way, it gets too steep. Keep chipping away. A couple of big rocks here and there, I have to pick them up, move them, make a garden out of them or something. We'll go up here now and I'll just give you a bit of a run through on, get the lay of the land a bit and see what we're working with. This is our front gate as you come into the place. That's the main road out there. You can see that little sight glass in there. It's on the minimum level of oil now. Pretty easy to top it up when you need to, rather than have oil leaking everywhere. We'll probably start off with my wife and I bought this paddock. It's a 160 odd acres, I think. Might be 165 or something like that, however many it was in hectares. But there's power coming into it. We've got a like a 2-bedroom sort of livable, like a colorbond shed over where the house is. There's a couple of sheds and things over there, but no water, just got a bit of power and no sewerage. It's on septic tanks and just use rainwater. Pump up what you need out of the creek for irrigation. I'm going to try and get a bore drilled one day, but when we got more money. But we'll go for a bit of a look round now and have a look. So this is the front gate as you come in. We've got one little paddock fenced off here. It's pretty much fully fenced with 4 barb all the way around, except the back boundary, which we're chipping away at the moment. When we bought the place, it was pretty overgrown, and you can sort of see the bits where we haven't got to, as that's how the whole place was. That's one boundary just there as you come in the front gate. You can see the stay down in the corner there, and then the boundary fence runs up along this way. There's heaps of little gullies, little floodgates and stuff like that. Pretty rough sort of country, but hopefully we can make something out of it. The boundary fence goes down the creek there. There's a couple of big logs there. I've got to get there to burn them, and then I should be able to ride the 4-wheeler down that fence. And then there's a little creek down in the gully there. You can't ride right up the fence, but I can ride down to the creek, cross the creek, and then come back up the other side of the ridge and check the fence from there. It's just a floodgate down in the gully. All of this sort of stuff I'll just go through. I'll leave most of the timber and stuff in there. I'll just get rid of the less desirables, spray the lantana, open it up a bit. Hopefully the cattle seem to like it down in there, so hopefully if we can open it up and get a little bit of grass going down in there, improve the carrying capacity slightly. It's pretty hard with depending on what all your neighbours and stuff are doing, having creeks running through, end up with all sorts of stuff getting washed down when it rains. This first little front paddock's about 30 acres-ish, 35, something like that. The front gate's just back over there. Come in through the front gate, got this bit of a ridge we've cleaned up here, where the tree line is about as far as we can get with the tractor, so I'm not too worried about cleaning up where it starts to fall away a bit, and we'll leave the trees there, hold the bank together. A little bit more tidying up I can do down in there, get a bit more grass growing. Come back to the front gate again. Go down along that ridge a little bit where the trees are. It's too steep, but a bit of a gully sort of comes down and then back up here again where these trees are. Hopefully one day we can come through and seed all of this and improve these pastures. We've just got to clean all the rubbish up first.
an old shipping container here that's got a bit of gear and stuff in it. We'll have to sort it out and put it one day. I was going to put that down near the cattle yards to just store a bit of hay and maybe some lick blocks and things like that for when times get a bit tougher. Got an old shed frame there. I'll try and put that shed frame up and build a set of stables and stuff out of it. Clean this little ridge up. This ridge is coming back good now. Pretty bare, a lot of cooch and stuff. Hopefully we can put a bit of improved pasture in here and get a bit more volume in the feed. Little set of cattle yards, just a portable set. The road's a little bit steep. Just use these for a trucking yard, or if we're going to sell anything, people can, a bit easier to bring a trailer or a truck or something in here. I'll try and bring that shipping container down here and set up a bit of a feed shed. A couple of good big old gum trees there. Get a bit of timber out of them one day. You can start to see, like, I don't know if over there you can start to see that where that ridge clears out, that's sort of going back up to the house over there. Got to go down this mongrel steep driveway. Always gets eroded out, washed out. One day we'll fix it up. A lot of these gullies don't want to clear any of this timber, they're sort of holding the bank together. Just get rid of the lantana out of there and leave the rest. The boundary fence just in there, those timber posts. Bit of an old, I think it was a motorbike jump, but you could use it as a loading ramp, but it'd be hard to get your truck up and down that driveway. Got one little dam just in there. I'll go and show you. This is sort of in the creek bed here now. And open a lot of this wattle and stuff up, thin it back out a bit. What these big invasive sort of bloody trees, they look like a neem tree or something, but they're just choking out this dam wall. We're slowly starting to try and spray it and get them back under control a little bit. One little dam. Like to clean this creek flat up a bit more, just get rid of a lot of the rubbish out. Holds a fair bit of moisture down in here. I reckon the grass will grow well once we open it up. Well, cement pipes over here when we got the place, but he must have been going to put them in the road and make a bit of a causeway. That's the boundary fence there again. Never get too much of a run through this creek. I always thought that floodgate had let go, but it always seems to hold up, so the water doesn't come up that high. Trickles through underneath there. Mob of timber. We've been slowly stacking it up and trying to just burn out the old stumps and just heaps of dead wood in here. I just want to try and get it under control before we have a big fire go through and I can't stop it. We'll just put some little fire breaks around and do it bit by bit. Just another little dam here. Try and clean these trees up and get them out of the dam wall so they're not burrowing through the wall, letting the water go. Nice little ridge up in there. It'll come up tidy, I think, once we get rid of all those burn piles and clean it up. You can sort of visualise when you look. That's what this whole ridge was like. Slowly getting there, chipping away bit by bit. Once you open it up and thin it out. There's not too much desirable timber left in there. It's just all rubbish. We don't plan on cutting down any more of those trees. We like that sort of selectively cleared look. A bit shadier, a bit cooler. This is what our place was like when we first bought it. So you can see start to see the difference. I'll ride up along the boundary and give you a better perspective. This is what we were working with when we first got it. Just rubbish everywhere. Now we're starting to open it up and selectively clear it a bit. Still got to thin out a few of those smaller ones. Just trying to leave some of the better clean dead timber there. If we ever want to sit around the fire one night, got some nice clean timber. The edge of one paddock, that's our place over there. We've still got to chip away and tidy it up a bit more, but we'll just focus on this front paddock first. Couple of real big old stumps in here. I've got to try and burn them out one day. Once we get rid of them all, we'll be able to slip up and down here on the tractor and the slasher. It's coming up to the house yard now. A couple of old goats laying there. Inherited these goats with the place when we bought the place. It's not fully hinge joint fenced or anything like that. It doesn't really keep them in, but they seem to hang around. I don't think I'll ever go to the extent of fencing it off properly. No, these goats will live out their natural life, and we probably won't replace them, or maybe we'll just fence off 30 acres or something and have a designated goat paddock or something. I think I'd prefer just to buy some that are sort of ready to go in the freezer rather than worry about breeding them. Pretty hard to contain if you're not prepared to put the work in. There's our little weaners up in the yards waiting for a feed. With this little orchard area was already fenced off. We just put this bit of hinge joint around it to keep the goats out, just so we could try and get some fruit trees going. But there was a camel here. I'd pull this top electric wire down one day just to tidy it up. We don't have a camel anymore. Bit of an orchard. I'll show you around there one day, and we're just trying in a bit of a hurry to sort of get them in the ground and get them going so we can get something back out of them. Got to close every gate you go through because the goats will end up in here and wreck everything. Pretty heavy and kid. There's our nanny goats. Probably be some babies here soon. And our nanny goat's got a little willy wag tail on the head. We'll go and park up and I'll show you around over at the yards a bit, give the cows some pellets.